Hey there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're catching this. Hope you're doing well today. I'm Michelle, and if you're new here, this is Treecat Chat. What is Treecat? It's the first and only cross-listing automation inventory management system for sellers. That is pay as you sell. We work with eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, whatnot, and more to come. So if you're already Treecat users, thanks for joining me today. And we have so much to talk about. Holy cow, there's been a lot going on, especially with Poshmark. Holy cow. Yesterday, I logged in and I was like, what's going on? I thought I'll show you what I saw. I saw that condition was made, and Mr. Treecat, I don't know if you can show this, but I've got a screenshot of what happened yesterday to me. The condition section of the listing was required. It was no longer optional. There we go. So the condition was no longer optional, and it was no longer, is it new or is it used? Or not new or not new, right? Those were the two options that we had. And they changed it to making the condition mandatory. You could not list unless you had one of their new condition attributes. So new with tags, like new, good, and fair. That's what happened yesterday. But and I was freaking out because I looked at all my listings and every single one of my listings had condition set to blank. And I was like, Poshmark is not doing this right in the middle of Q4 because they didn't have any kind of way to make bulk changes. And I was like, that's a no-no. Because didn't Mercari just do this a few months back, not too long ago? And they actually had a way that I guess you could call it a migration that they did for their users, and they put all of the conditions to good. Or was that eBay that did that? One of the other marketplaces made a change to their conditions, and they changed it and they migrated users to having it all. If it was previously not new with tags, it was set to good. So at least they had a bulk way of changing it. But like, I was freaking out yesterday because what they said on their blog back in October was that things like the brand, the size, and the condition were going to be made, really more important in terms of search. And so, they would help with discovery. So if you had the brand, the size, and the condition, those were going to be really important with discovery because they're changing, right? They're changing things in their search and algorithm, and which is good. We're happy about that. But they need to have a plan for their sellers, right? If they're going to make big changes like this and not have a way to migrate that information, migrate it all seamlessly, that's a problem. But I'm guessing that they will. If they don't, Treecat's got a solution for you because we've got this new bulk, well, it's relatively new, bulk edit and bulk update. And we'll get into that in a second. I just want to make sure that you guys have checked out the October 13th Poshmark blog where they spell out all the things that they're changing, including the pictures. So yesterday I also noticed that the pictures on desktop were now in portrait mode. And yesterday, and they also made a statement that they're going to be changing all the backgrounds to white. So yesterday I noticed that if you can see, this particular, this one right here, it got cropped. But I think what's going to happen is I think when they do the white, they haven't done the white backgrounds yet because this one still doesn't have a white background. And this one still doesn't have a white background. But I think what's going to happen, I think we're going to be okay, is when they start doing their white background, they're using a tool that all of us use. It's a tool that we all use. It's a third-party tool that we use, and it actually adds in, it zooms it out a little bit and gives you more of a border. So I think I'm going to be okay on these, but if not, I will have to go and change up my pictures. But I'm hoping, and I shouldn't make any assumptions because every time I make an assumption, I'm wrong. I'm hoping that when they go and they do the white background removal, it'll add a little bit more white to the, it'll zoom it out a little bit to make it less cropped. I'm hoping, but that has yet to be seen. So yeah, I was pretty incensed yesterday, the fact that they made this change, but they've reverted back. So as of today, they reverted back, and now you can list again with just and it's optional. So you can see here, it's not optional because it has an asterisk next to it. So any item that has an asterisk placed by it means it's necessary. You have to have that field filled out in order to list it. Previously, it was not. There was no asterisk, right? And so it was optional. And it's back. They reverted today back to being optional. They probably got so much pushback from their users, right? Your users saying, hey, you need to have a way to migrate the information for, or like a bulk way to do that for your users, right? I cannot believe that they wouldn't have, that they would just leave everybody's listings with zero information in the, like yesterday, what I noticed was my condition was just completely blank on all of my 1,200 listings. Every single one of my 1,200 listings had blank condition. So that was very upsetting. And I talked to my engineers and I'm like, hey, Treecat has this new bulk editing tool and bulk update tool. If Poshmark does not have a way to migrate us from having zero in the condition field to saying, like, if it was previously new without, or no, like, is it new? No. Will they put on good? Will they migrate all of them to good? That's the question. If they don't do something like that, that is reckless. And I'm sorry to say I have an opinion about that, but that is not nice. But Treecat will be there to the rescue if that's the case. I'm hoping that they will have some kind of migration for users, for sellers, where they do put in a condition such as good, right, by default for all of the listings. I'm sure they're going to do that. I can't possibly see a world in which they wouldn't do that. However, yesterday that world did exist for me, but maybe they have got a lot of pushback and are like reverting back until they can make that migration happen for all their users. So we'll see. But in the meantime, we are going to have some things put in place in terms of our new feature, which is bulk edit and bulk update. So right now, with bulk edit and bulk update, you can click on your items. I'm just going to give you a quick little tutorial how it works. I think I gave a sneak peek a few weeks back, but we didn't have the bulk update in that particular at that particular time. Now we've added the bulk update, so it really makes it much more powerful to use. So what I did was I selected 3 items, and then in main actions, I am going to select, where is it? Bulk edit 3 items. Okay. And you do this one marketplace at a time. So for eBay, I'm going to change the price for these 3 items. So these 3 items right now, I'm going to change the price to $19.98. Let's say $19.93. I think they're already at $19.98. Okay. And then I'm going to apply the selected changes and confirm that these 3 items will be changed. Now, they are now changed on Treecat, but they're not yet changed on eBay. So I go to main actions, and I go to the update feature, which is this is the update, which is update 3 items. And I click on eBay and I say confirm selection. And that's going to then push that change to eBay for me, right? And you have the confirmation because right here it says action is initiated. And then you go to your events and you can see that it's now pending. It's now working on that. So cool, right? And right now, you can do this with a variety of different things. So let's go to my Marika bras, just showing you how all this works. So with my Marika bras, there are several that I want to change the price on. Actually, I have 2 different types of Marika bras. I have Marika New and I have Marika New without tags. So let's just look at the Marika New without tags. So I'm going to select, I guess I could just say select all 9 items. So all of these 9 items, I want to change, let's see, update, bulk edit 9 items, bulk edit 9 items. So let's say I didn't want to change the price, but I wanted to change something else like the category. I guess I could select, I don't really want to change the category, but I could change the shipping information. Okay. So I could, for example, change the the length, width, and depth of the shipping information, and I could change the weight. So let's say I want to change the weight to 8 ounces. Okay, I could also change, if I wanted to do one of my different eBay policies, or if I want to I actually do want to accept returns. So I'm going to see what happens when I apply those changes. So it's telling me that it's changing the size of the shipping package, and it's changing and this is for eBay only. It's changing my return policy so that I do accept returns on this. Okay, so it's making those changes. The action has been initiated. And then once that's done, I'm going to go and do an update of these 9 items to eBay. And then I confirm the selection. Now, how did I know that was going to happen on eBay? Because let's do another one. I have another. So you could just change these things really quickly. Let's see, Catherine's. Let's unselect. I have 27 of these. So let's do Catherine's. And let's select these and see what else do I want to change with this particular set of items that I want to bulk edit. It's only telling me one. So you have to select all of them, and then you tell it to bulk edit the 28 items. And here's where you select the platform. So if I wanted to switch to a different platform and say I wanted to make changes on Whatnot, and I just was like, hey, I want my prices to be a little bit less on Whatnot. So let's say I change them to $21.97 for Whatnot. And this is only going to change the price, right? So I'm going to apply, and it's going to confirm that it's changing all of those items to $21.97. And I mean, conceivably, I could go in every single day and change my prices by a penny just to kind of give myself a little bit more activity. And it's not going to matter on Whatnot, obviously. But on some of these other, let's do an update. We're going to update onto Whatnot, that change. But like on some of these other, marketplaces where they like to see activity, and maybe you're checking comps and you're realizing, hey, this market is very, very dynamic, and I want to make sure that I'm changing things on the fly, and showing activity on my account. You could go and do that with your pricing. We will have more features with regards to how pricing is changed, but for now, all the items are going to be changed at the same time. So in the future, expect more delineation in terms of like changing it by a percentage or changing it by a decimal or something like that. But for now, this is the V1, and that's how it's going to work. So there's lots of options. And then in the future, I can see us doing, and I just spoke with my engineer about this today, I can see us doing something like, hey, let's go and bulk edit these 2 items. Actually, let me do it with 2 items that are similar. So these 2 items are similar. And let's in terms of the brand and stuff like that. So I'm bulk editing these 2 items, but what I really want to do is change, let's see here. I want to change it to women's. Oops, it's still on Whatnot. So I want to change it to say that I do accept returns. Okay, I definitely want to accept returns. And what else do I want to change about these? Maybe I want to change, let's see, the category. Look at the category. So the category is clothing, right? Clothing, shoes, and accessories. And it's women's, and what is this? This is clothing, and it's intimates, right? So these are both the same in that they're both intimates and they're both shapewear. And so that leads me to change some other things, right? I have the opportunity to change any number of things. And one of the things could be the condition. So I want to make sure that this condition is new without tags, right? So I want to make that change, and I'm going to apply it. And so now it's telling me it's keeping the same category, and it's changing the condition, and it's changing the return policy. So you can change a number of things really quickly like that. and let's do an update. We're going to update onto eBay. So this just gives you a lot of options to do more bulk changes and to get those bulk changes, immediately done. And it's per, it's each different marketplace. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about today? I mean, it's a pretty exciting new feature. The bulk update, the bulk editing and the bulk update, it's per marketplace. And there's just lots of options that you can change and update on a bulk basis. And it's really, really kind of a cool feature, in my opinion. Okay, looks like we got some, let me grab my tablet here so I can see so we'll just get to the questions now. Okay. eBay is supposedly testing getting rid of sell similar button on its desktop app. Can I do a sell similar? Yes, you can do a sell similar with Treecat. So if there's no more sell similar on eBay, which that would be weird for them to stop doing sell similar. This seems like a very strange thing to get rid of. But if they do, all you do is if you've sold it before, if you have an item that you previously sold, you just you take out the archive label, because what you're seeing on your feed is all of your items that have not yet been sold or archived. It's just all your active listings that have not yet been sold. So if you want to go and check out items that have been sold, you take out the archive label and you apply that you're not using the archive label. And then you can search. Let's say, let's see. I'm just looking for some that I might want to do a copy of. I guess I could do a copy of any of these, frankly. Let me just make sure we don't have the archive label on. Okay, cool. So I'm going to here's one. So this lot of 3 Spanx, I am going to open this up and I'm going to, let's see here. I need to make a copy. So what you would do is, let me go back to this. You would make a copy of it. Take out the archive label, apply filter, and you would, did I do that right? Take out the archive label. There we go. And apply filter. There we go. Okay. So I took out the archive label and I applied that filter so that I can look at stuff that's like been already sold that I want to just relist, right? And I could tell because it's not green. The ones that are green means it's an active listing. The ones that are red or yellow means that it was previously sold, right? Because we keep a record of all the things that you previously sold in case you want to do a sell similar, but it's really just a copy. So you would click on the one that you want to do a copy and you'd say copy one item. Okay. So it's going to make a copy. And let's see, these are a bundle of 2 Spanx. So I'm going to copy that title and then I'm going to put that back into there and I can see that there is now a copy of this. Okay. So in order for this to, let's see, where did it originally sell? So this one sold on Whatnot. So what you would do is you would do a, what do you call it? You would do a autofill from Whatnot to eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, wherever you wanted to list it. Say you wanted to list it on Mercari. So you would do that autofill. And then you would just make sure that you have the right quantity. So let's say you got 4 more, or maybe you only got 3 more. You'd want to change the quantity available. And the other thing that you're going to need to make sure that you change is the status. So let's see. Oh, maybe we don't do cross-listing from or autofill from Whatnot to Mercari. Okay, so this may be a bad example. Maybe I don't think we do have cross-listing from or autofill from Whatnot to Mercari. But anyways, what you'd want to make sure that you do is that you take off the archive label. All right. And it's only when you take off the archive label that you can then list it, right? So let's see here. Let's go back to Mercari. So I have to do this by hand, I guess, since we're not cross-listing from Whatnot to Mercari yet. But this would be the idea, is you would just put in, let's just say 36 just for fun and giggles, and underwear and other. And these are, what size are these? These are size F. Is that right? Size F, so that's extra large. And we're going to do the shipping method, standard. And these are about 8 ounces. And we're doing USPS Grand Advantage, buyer pays, condition is like new, save the changes, and make sure that, so that this is the final step, is you make sure that you change your quantity to whatever your quantity is now, and you take it out of archive. So you unclick that archive, and then you save those changes, and then you can then list that item, and it's saving the changes for me, and then I'll be able to list that as a brand new item. So that's your sell similar using Treecat. Let's see, were there any other questions in the chat? I do have some other questions. Let's see here. Oh, I lost my, what are your thoughts? Okay, Spokane Flipper. What are your thoughts about eBay's new promoted listings general attribute? Okay, I did talk about that a few weeks back. And a lot of it was just me speculating, oh, they're going to have all these new value add to the general promoted listings, and they're going to do all this targeting, and there must be some reason why they're charging so much more. They're going to be charging so much more and attributing your listings that are organic to the promoted listings, but it sounds like they're not going to be doing any value add. I don't know. I mean, I can sort of see their point of view. They're like, hey, we need to be making more money on this, because when I looked at my return on ad spend for promoted listings general, it was like between pay $1 to get $22 in sales and pay $1 to get $33 in sales. And that's pretty phenomenal in the world of like ads. Because if you look, I mean, so eBay's also introducing the pay per click, which is going to be the promoted listings priority. So they're going to get the priority for the placement and search. And I was misunderstanding when they say we're changing our ads, I thought maybe they're going to be doing some other types of ads, but no, it's all the sponsored ads apparently. And the sponsored ads will not ever be as high if you're doing promoted listings general as the people that are doing pay per click priority. So, I mean, the pay-per-click stuff is like you pay $1 to make $5 in sales, and some of it's easy, even like you pay $1 to make $2 in sales, so it's really expensive. So eBay's promoted listings general, the ROAS is pretty outstanding compared to the rest of what the industry is doing. So I guess I can understand, like, they're trying to find more ways to make money, and of course the sellers are always mostly how they do that. So. And, like they've had a bunch of like, activist investors like on their board, and probably, getting their calculators out and finding ways to, process re-engineer everything and find out ways to squeeze more money out of the whole situation. So I think that's what's happening there. So I don't know. I'll probably still try to do it. But like I said, I still have questions as to whether promoted listings that are at 12% could possibly have the attribution go to organic listings that sell at 3%. So I don't want that to happen. So I am, just to be on the safe side, until I can ask somebody at eBay, I am going to put everything, if I do promote, I'm going to put everything at one flat rate. And then I'll just assume that my entire closet or my entire catalog will be billed, once I get a sale. Once a sale happens, it's just going to be an extra 2 to 3%. I don't know what I'm going to promote at. Right now I promote like around 3%. I might lower that. We'll see. But it doesn't sound like, unfortunately, that doesn't sound like they're adding any new, value add that we can think of. They're not doing, any kind of banner ads or email ads or, they have those products. They do have those products for offsite listing and pay-per-click. But it doesn't sound like with the promoted listings generally you're getting anything other than just the sponsored listing. And it will rank somewhere in search, but not as high as the people that are doing the promoted listings priority. So I guess what was the question? What is my opinion about it? I don't know. It is what it is. What are my thoughts about it? Well, those are my thoughts. I was just thinking, this is this whole attribution model is pretty interesting, and they must be doing some really cool added value to be charging, essentially, it could double your ad spend, right? They must be doing something pretty phenomenal and amazing as a value add, right? No, I don't think so. But they have the technology, they have the AI, they have all the data on their buyers, and you'd think they'd use that. Maybe they are. Who knows? I don't know. Do we have any other questions from the chat? We talked about what are you drinking? Okay, this is just chocolate milk, breakfast of champions. Yeah, that's what I'm drinking. Hopefully you guys are not playing that drinking game where you drink every time I say or that's not good, but it does help me because then I remember I have to speak with elocution, proper elocution, right? No more ums and ahs. All right, cool. Well, it looks like that may be all of the questions. If you do have any other questions, ask it in the chat or in the comments below. And I hope you guys like the new sort of look and feel. We're changing things a little bit around with regards to our look and feel. And we have new, all kinds of new, like if you go to, let's see, maybe I didn't post it. Oh yeah, you can see like with our blog, for example, it's all now kind of a lot nicer, cleaner look. So we're going to be changing some things and making some updates in terms of marketplaces. We have a lot of new marketplaces that are coming. We have a lot of new features that are coming. We have a whole new user interface that's coming. So lots of changes, lots of new marketplaces, and hopefully, you guys it'll help you all out in being able to diversify a little bit more and not getting so upset with eBay and Poshmark with all the changes that they're making during Q4. So yeah, a lot to look forward to, a lot in 2026 that really could help you in your business, in your selling business, your reselling business, and lots of new branches on the trees to keep climbing, right? So with that being said, guys, it's 9:30, and I thank you so much for joining me on Treecat Chat today, and we'll see you next time. If you have any questions, reach out to us. You can contact us on the app itself. If you go to the little question mark on the right-hand side, if you have tech support needs, we have the little question mark. You have the little question mark, and that leads you to support and documentation and to schedule a support call with us. We also have our Reddit, which is our Treecat, and yeah, so that's how to contact us. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and make lots of sales. And we'll see you guys next time on Treecat Chat. Mahalo. Have a good one, guys. Bye.